Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the A-10A Early, the 9.7 battle rating American ground attacker that has been added in the new patch. Winds of change, we've got a lot of new stuff going on, and these Thunderbolts are a few of them. This one is the premium version for the Americans, and we're gonna have a look at this plane. I'm a little bit worried about the speeds. I already was when we were on the dev server, and it seems that the speeds have not been changed, so we're gonna have a 500 to 600 kilometers an hour regular speed while we're going for ground targets, and we're gonna look what the effects of that will be. Before we get into the details, do make sure to give the video a like if you do enjoy it. Leave me a comment, and if you're not subscribed yet, do hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you will never miss one of my videos. For the rest, do join me on Locals and Rumble. Especially Locals has unique content that you can enjoy more about politics and other real life stuff that I want to talk about on a more regular basis. We're building a nice community there, and you can also support me financially there if that is what you would like to do. So I highly appreciate it if you do join me on those platforms. Now, this one, the A-10A Early 9.7 battle rating, the same as on the dev server. It was also 9.7 there. It's gonna face 10.7 in up tiers, and I can tell you one thing about this plane. When it comes to speed, it is in up tiers sometimes 3 times as slow as some of the planes that you'll be facing in the speed that they are running. While you're busy ground attacking 500 kilometers an hour and planes coming from altitude, it's so rough. They're at least twice as slow as planes, but sometimes close to 3 times as slow. The maximum speed in this plane at sea level is 690 kilometers an hour. At 4,500 meters she can run up to 575, and at 6,500 meters this is 511. This is in indicated airspeed, so that is definitely not a fast plane, and this is in an empty state. So I tested this plane without any loadout, so you're gonna have the extra added drag from whatever loadout you pick. That will reduce that maximum potential on the speed, but it also adds a lot of drag, so you will reach slower speeds even. You might go to 450 on a regular cruising speed in a straight line. The top speed in a dive in this plane is 831 before she redlines, and the rip speed cannot be reached because of all the drag on this plane. I could not get her to rip from 8,000, 9,000 kilometers altitude. I could not get it to rip. So yeah, there's enough drag on this thing to slow it down enough that it won't reach the rip speed in a dive. The control stiffening in this plane is quite alright. It has very good roll rate to start off with. Very nimble feeling plane when it comes to roll rate. And the control stiffening hits a little bit at 550 kilometers an hour, and another bit of compression hits at about 700, but it stays reasonably good in the roll rate, so that's not really an issue. I have to say it's quite nice when it comes to that. The stall speed in this plane is 155 in an empty state. That's all right, but you can imagine with a decent loadout like the one I'm running right now, that would go up to 175, 180 maybe. Firepower in this plane is excellent. You have a 30mm GAU 8A cannon with 1174 rounds per gun. That is a lot of ammunition. You also can equip this plane with AGMs, gun pods, rockets, bombs, missiles. It has the opportunity to put some AIM 9Ls on there. It also has defensive weaponry with flares. It has a defensive radar, and it also has an air brake that runs from the ailerons, and seems to be quite effective for overshoots and stuff like that. Although with the speed in this plane you don't really need anything to force an overshoot, to be honest, because everything is faster and it's just going to be hell to pay, let's say. But with all those options, there's a lot of combos to be made with weaponry setups and how you want to run this plane. You can use it as a support fighter with missiles. or with gun pods if you want. You can go base bombing with 1,000-pound bombs. You can go column running and close air supporting with a lot of the other options, rockets and stuff like that. So there's a shit ton of options in this plane, and it makes it quite versatile, so that can be fun. The firepower, as I said, is excellent. The ammo loads are fantastic. Acceleration in this plane in a straight line is below average. In a dive it's also only average. Energy retention in the horizontal is average, and in the vertical it's bad, especially with a loadout. Don't go too much into the vertical because you will lose a lot of speed, and whatever energy you did have, you're gonna lose a lot of that as well. So you're gonna be dead in the water basically in this plane at that point. Climb rate in this plane is below average, at 9.7 battle rating we're talking about, right? So it's not gonna be great, you can imagine that. Turn time is decent to good with flaps. Flaps only rip off at around 760 kilometers an hour. So those flaps rip off at a very late point. This is very good. You can go in a straight dive if you want, put the flaps out, and you can go a long way down without any trouble. So there is that. Roll rate in the plane is very good, really nice. That's the best part of its maneuverability. Overall maneuverability is good. Running really nice. Overheating in this plane, very present but manageable, and it takes a shit ton of time before it runs into the red. It comes into the amber quite quickly, but it takes a long time for that to go into true overheating. Durability in the plane is excellent. It can take a lot of damage, and the A-10s were, yeah, they were built quite sturdily, let's say that. So there is that is very good. And on the guns, I forgot to mention the ammo loads. We have 4 different kinds of belts. The default belt has a 50% API and 50% high explosive incendiary. The ground belt has 75% AP and 25% high explosive. The air belt has 25% AP and 75% high explosive. And the stealth belt is again 50-50. So with the air belt you have more high explosive, and with the stealth belt you have the surprise factor. But all these belts are competitive. The default belt is not bad or anything. It's just a 50-50 between API and high explosive with tracers. So yeah, there is that. That's the difference between that and stealth. Pretty straightforward. All the belts are acceptable. You can use them. There's no problem with that. The repair cost in this plane is 5,400 silver lions, which is good. It's quite low, actually one of the lower ones at this battle rating. Rewards in this plane, a 678% research multiplier and a 420% silver lion multiplier. Now that research point multiplier is good, but the silver lion is definitely below average. There is not many planes that are lower at 9.7 battle rating in the silver lion percentage. Then of course this one gets the 2.0 multiplier again as well, that all premiums get, but still there is some regular tree ones that have in the 600s and the late 600s in percentage wise, and that almost exceeds the premium multiplier. Well, anyway, yeah, so this is not going to be the best premium for silver lion grinding if that stays this way, and it is on live, so I'm expecting that to stay. I don't know why they did that, because you know, in the end this is a close air support that can do base bombing as well. It has a lot of armaments, a great gun that can kill light pillboxes and all that jazz. It's a great gun, but the speed, man, the speed, it is fucking slow. It is really incredible. In up tiers at 10.7, well, you feel like a Lada next to Ferraris basically. It's not gonna go anywhere, and it is also very difficult to get the missiles on point with planes that know what they're doing basically. If they don't just overshoot you and run in a straight line, they will be extended from you already a long way before you get your locks on and can shoot the missile. The distance is already over 2 kilometers at that point often, and the missile often runs runs out at that point. I'm not to say that you can't get those missiles on target. I've shot a few people down, and that's all right. But in the flights that I had, but bloody hell, man, the speed is really what kills this plane for me. I don't think I will be playing it a lot when it comes down to it. In the end, I did pay it. I did buy this plane from my own money because I want to have some fun with the guys of my squadron, and we're gonna fly it out a little bit here and there, and run some Warthog squads. It should be fun with some support, maybe some people in fighter jets to give us some cover, but without air supremacy, without air support. Yeah, this presents some difficulties for me. And let me know what you think about the speed in this plane compared to some of the fast-running planes that you will face, especially in up tiers. It was quite painful in some situations, I have to say. You feel quite helpless. 12,000 research points, so that's alright. You expect that, and 30,000 Silver Lions. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now this plane can definitely do a job, don't get me wrong. I did find it quite a helpless feeling when things come at you with a 1200, 1300 kilometers an hour and shoot some missiles at you, difficult to avoid. Well, the flares help, of course, but sometimes you're just not fast enough with this plane to escape, even though it's quite maneuverable. So you run out of flares quite quickly, and on the other hand, sometimes you just get surprised. And what I also noticed is that with these speeds, it's sometimes difficult to get your own missiles on target. And yeah, so defensive-wise, yeah, it does have flares, yeah, it does have missiles, it does have the gun, but only few people come for head-on with this plane. And yeah, man, it's as I said, it's a Lara, it's a Lada surrounded by Ferraris, and you feel quite insignificant. Although, of course, when you're left alone, this thing can be devastating to the enemy tickets. So yeah, there is that as well. I'm just not sure if I have to recommend this plane to you. I mean, there's a regulatory version that has 4 AIM-9Ls and has a 10.0 battle rating. It's gonna up tier you to 11.0, but that's free. So I would go for that one, and I would check out if this plane is something for you before you consider buying this premium one. It sits a little bit better in battle rating, but it's still a 10.7 up tier. And this plane with a loadout runs at around 500, 550 to 600 kilometers an hour maximum. Yeah, so make of that what you will, but you're going to be twice as slow as your opponents. And yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's not an easy plane when it comes to that. Although, of course, you can get results and you can have good matches. Let me say that. You can make everything work, but yeah. I'm not sure if this plane is super competitive at the battle rating. I would say probably not. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.